Hello again and welcome to the Friday Wrap for March 14th. Finally, and we're getting some decent weather. Well, this week, the first place I started out was actually in Darien. I went to the Citizen of the Year awards dinner and banquet held at the Alpine Banquets over there on Cass Avenue. The recipient this year, which is kind of neat, it's one of the very few villages I know that present this, was actually John Podorowski. And I have to say it was very humbling to hear his long list of accomplishments, and I'm sure everyone in the room felt the same way. Congratulations again to him. I'm filming today from a different angle in my office where we have the Burr Ridge map right behind us. And it's kind of neat. It shows off the 65 subdivisions that we have throughout the village, which is really cut in half by I-55, and as far as north and south, east and west, by County Line Road, which is actually 40% in Cook County and 60% in DuPage, FYI. This week, we had one, of course, at the village board meeting on Monday. It lasted only about 23 minutes. It's one of the fastest meetings so far, but it was followed by a budget workshop, which I'll tell you about. At the actual village board meeting, there were only two major issues that were on the agenda. The one was a policy relating to notices of public hearings, which was expanded to those residents within 750 feet versus 500 like it used to be. Now it's 3 times the average or most villages in the DuPage County, but definitely want to get the word out to as many residents as you could regarding zoning changes. The Planning Commission recommendation to amend the zoning ordinance for solar panels was also approved for one company. They actually made that a smaller footage requirement. The budget workshop actually took 2 hours on Monday and was continued on Thursday for 3.5 hours. You'd be very impressed, I think, by how hard the board worked on reviewing every line by line, category by category of this incredible budget binder that was put together by Village Administrator Steve Stricker and our Finance Director Jerry Sapp. It was incredible, looking for every opportunity to control expenses, as well as some opportunities for increasing and finding revenue. Those are topics we'll talk about more when we get closer to the vote, because I certainly want to emphasize to a great extent the latter, which is how can we find and increase revenue for the village. Two other meetings that happened in the village this week was the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners met on Tuesday and Wednesday. And the Pathway Commission, whom I saw in the conference room on Thursday night, they also met as well. Now on Wednesday, I had my quarterly lunch with the Village Center Manager, Scott Ralston. That's always kind of neat to find out what's going on with the village. And there's a lot of movement, which I think you'll hear about in coming weeks and months. Even the potential for a restaurant, a family-friendly restaurant, but that's far from being accomplished. But they're working very hard on that. Also, probably the biggest news in the village, and it's really shocked many of us, especially the resident that texted me on Saturday of last week to find out what happened to Moondance, the Moondance Diner. Moondance Diner appears to be closed, and answers to my phone call request to the owner of the shopping center were unsuccessful. I do not know the full story behind that, but that would be unfortunate if we lose Moondance Diner. On Friday night, tonight is a County Wine and Merchant that has some quite really neat entertainment tonight. I know it's an Elvis Presley impersonator. I think even a Johnny Cash one. It's supposed to be a pretty full house. If you have a chance, you ought to get over there. This week, I-55, the County Line Road Bridge, I think had the first major construction work that was being seen, as you can see by the pictures. And on a personal note, thank you very much, by the way, for the residents that reached out to me for finding a developer. As it turns out, I think there's 2 Burr Ridge residents that helped us out a great deal, and we're going to end up hiring one or both, or doing some work with both companies. And I'll give you more information on that later. But again, appreciate everyone's reaching out to me, and as it turned out, Burr Ridge residents came to my rescue. Also, on a personal note, my daughter's college, UWM, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, they actually won the Horizon League basketball championship and move on to the NCAA. I tell you that because it's really kind of cool. I didn't know about it ahead of time, but They actually were in last place last year, and were predicted to be in last place this year. And I love underdog stories. Thanks again for joining me. I hope you have a great week. I look forward to talking again. Take care, God bless, and we'll see you next Friday.